No. What's up, guys? Okkotsu here, and here we are to talk about whether or not Yuta Okkotsu, the blessed child, should ever get on the battlefield with the true form of the king of curses, Ryomen Sukuna. And I got a pretty hardline opinion on this. I'll see if y'all can convince me, but allow me to lay out a quick little argument why I personally believe that Yuta Okkotsu should say his blessed behind as many miles, meters, whichever measuring system you would like to use away from Ryomen Sukuna. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. What's up, guys? I'm Pencil here. Fun fact, I have it on me, and I keep it on me at all times. And fun fact, Yuta has it on him, and he keeps it on him at all times. But the thing is, while it's nice that Mr. Okkotsu has it on him, while it's nice that his husk of a girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, has multiple other things on it, while it's nice that Yuta Okkotsu has one of the most variable bags in the entire series, because we don't know how many techniques he has, all that's fantastic. He shouldn't. He really should not pull up the Sukuna. Unless... Now, he just shouldn't. Even if certain very specific conditions are met, I don't think he should pull up the Sukuna. At all. And there are multiple reasons why. Let's tackle it in 3 separate reasons why I think Yuta should stay as far away from Sukuna as humanly possible. We're going to break it down to simple stat scaling, we're going to break it down to character work, and we're going to break it down to abilities, maybe not entirely in that order. Now, here's the thing. Stats should be the easiest one to argue. I really hope there's not a single Yuta fan. I mean, there's likely one of y'all. And notably, I always say Yuta fans as if they're like a separate category from me. I am a Yuta fan. I know it's hard to tell sometimes, but trust me, I am a Yuta fan. I love the character. But in terms of raw stats, I'm still very hard to believe he even scales to 15-finger Maguna. Or 15-finger Yuji Kuna. I'm so hard-pressed to believe that. So now, we aren't just taking 15-finger. Let's be omega generous. I'm about to do some of the craziest, most next-level Yuta slop for the next couple minutes, alright? So let's slop Yuta off to the extreme. Let's take Yuji's statement at face value that he believes base Yuta, because notably that's all Yuji saw. He did not see fully manifested. He didn't see no technique, nothing. Let's just take Yuji's statement at face value, ignoring any contradictions that could hypothetically come with this, that base Yuta slams 15-finger. Maybe not slams. I mean, slams a little bit rough. But no, slams 15-finger. That's what Yuji believes. He was like, hey, I don't know, dog. You seem like you got that. So let's say 100%. Yuji is absolutely right, just slams 15-finger. Let's say Yuta Okkotsu gets a massive, let's say he gets a 10 times multiplier by getting fully manifested Riken's curse technique. In fact, no, we'll be more solid. We'll say he gets a 5 times multiplier. Because remember, Gojo says at the start of the series that, hey, hate to say it to you, buddy, but about 80% of your power comes from an innate technique, meaning that base Yuta is consistently limited to about 20% of his power for a majority of the day. Thusly, Yuji, an actual factual, someone who saw all of Sukuna's experiences, experienced everything Sukuna did, shares the memories of when Sukuna was in control of his body, is based on everything that Sukuna did and everything that Sukuna fought, yes, you, base Yuta, who's only at 20% of your full potential, could absolutely dog walk that man. Easily, light work, you could do it. And let's back this up with the fact that Yuta was absolutely holding back in Sendai, and he definitely has the... If he's got that bloodlust in him, if he's feeling a little bit fancy, a little bit juicy, he was not trying to hold back to save points or anything like that to get Ryu or Earl out of there. If he really wanted to, he could blitz and one-tap them easily. No sky manipulation, no nothing. He doesn't need to use the icebreaker. Base Yuta could run in and just smack those two. Because once again, we're comparing him to 15-finger. And if we're believing that 15-finger can low diff Ryu when he has that, I guess you might as well call it slaughtering intent. I was about to make a joke, but let's not make a joke. Let's say we see a 15-finger Maguna post-bath, low diff Ryu, and let's say, since Yuta can apparently low diff 15-finger, in this hypothetical, using only 20% of his power, then bada bing, bada boom. We're gonna assume that Yuta can do the exact same thing to Ryu and Earl. He just didn't because he was trying to understand them. He was trying to get that nice, good feel about him, and he was all happy and nice and kind and sweet. Dhruv and Karushi did not deserve that, though. Dhruv was an ancient warlord. He was attacking innocent people. And obviously, Kurushi was a curse. He was never going to communicate with the curse. That's not how Yuta Okkotsu rolls. So base Yuta absolutely slams 15 finger. Absolutely slams Ryo and Uro. Absolutely slams them both. All that. Let's stack it on top of that. He gets a 5 times multiplier. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. But he gets a 5 times multiplier once he activates his curse technique for 5 minutes. He doesn't just get access to Rika. He doesn't just get access to those cursed tools inside of Rika. He doesn't just get access to the curse techniques stored inside of Rika. He also just gets a flat 5 times multiplier. Base Yuta gets 5 times stronger. The base Yuta that's already neck slamming Uro, 15 finger, Yuji Kuna, and also Ryu. All of them low diffed, 1 tapped by base Yuta. Then he gets a 5 times multiplier. He's different. He's next level. This base Yuta with these crazy next level, absolutely valid stats. I'm not wanking or anything. Ignore any context that goes behind any of those statements or lack of understanding or context. Yuta is just that him. Then he gets a 5 times multiplier. And then he gets access to the fully manifested Queen of Curses, Rika Orimoto's Husk, which is more than powerful to also blitz, 1 tap, low diff, 1 shot, whatever adjectives you'd like to use, all these 15 finger level characters or lower than 15 finger level characters. Let's say all that is valid. He's still second to Satoru Gojo, according to the narrator. No, let's not even go into translation. We'll go with the most generous translation for Yuta. He is second to Satoru Gojo in raw power. Raw power. Raw juice. He is second to Satoru Gojo. You can back this up by Yuta believing he could go out and take care of Maharaga. He could go out and take care of Ahito himself. He 100% believes he can go do that. We aren't going to take the fact that multiple characters have expressed confidence in themselves and absolutely proven that that confidence was unwarranted. Characters like Jogo, characters like Cosmo, characters like even hypothetically. I mean, not. But once again, Yuta believes he could wipe out those people who were going relative to Gojo and Sukuna, 20 finger Maguna. Let's say that no matter what, Yuta Okkotsu is second to Satoru Gojo in raw power. We're not even going to talk about the unusual abilities translations. We're just going to say Viz translations suck. And thusly, it is very specifically raw power. Now, I have a question for you. Who beat the person that Yuta Okkotsu is second to? Oh yeah, Ryomen Sukuna. Do you see the issue here stats-wise? Even if I give Yuta the most omega benefit of the doubt, there is nothing in the narrative to suggest that he is somehow stronger than Gojo. It isn't. And I don't know. There's just nothing to suggest it. And here's the thing. Unlike Gojo, he does not have a consistent space shield around him at all times. It just doesn't. It just simply does not exist. And thusly, everything that Sukuna can do is now valid. And remember, we aren't even talking about Maguna anymore. We're talking about Yuta stats-wise compared to 20 finger true form Sukuna. 4 arms, 4 eyes, 2 mouths, double shot. But mention that last part. Ume loves that last part. But let's not mention that last part. You know he's probably, let's just say Sukuna's dual wielding at all times. Call him Roxas. But with that being the case, Yuta does not have any metric that suggests that he suddenly magically scales above Satoru. He just doesn't. He's second to Satoru Gojo, and Satoru Gojo is relative. Here's the thing, right? Even if you say that Satoru Gojo has better stats than Maguna, it's pretty much impossible that he has superior stats to true form Sukuna, because we just don't know. We legit do not see the scale. And here's the thing. Let's be, once again, omega generous to Yuta and talk like he is just superior to 20 finger Maguna in stats. Let's just say he is, because he's second to Satoru Gojo, and Satoru Gojo has shown multiple times throughout the battle in him and Sukuna, with blue, amping his speed, he's able to overwhelm Sukuna. We see that Sukuna, while heavily damaged, by the way, in Maguna form, is able to off-screen the person that Yuta Okkotsu is second to. Easy. Easy. He just off-screen and drops him immediately. Now, don't get me wrong. You can definitely argue that Yuta has higher level mastery of RCT than Gojo does. Because he literally does. We know the levels of RCT go self-healing, the healing of like high level stuff like limbs and hypothetical brain damage, and then the healing of others. Yuta is one of 3 characters in the entire series that can heal other people. It's literally him, Sukuna, and himself. Him, Sukuna, and Shoko. They're the only 3, so he does have a higher level mastery of it. But if Satoru Gojo, off of 4 black flashes, which we know puts you in the zone and amps you, cannot heal from being bisected, Yuta Okkotsu will not be able to heal from being bisected. And once again, the second to Satoru Gojo thing. So Yuta Okkotsu would not be able to react, unless Sukuna warned him like he warned Kashimo. Yuta Okkotsu would not be able to react to the main thing of Sukuna's abilities. Space Slash. Space Slash. He, ironically enough, you can argue he does not even need Space Slash, but let's just say Space Slash. This kind of smoothly transfers into the ability section. But yeah, I might as well just transfer into that. Abilities. Yuta Okkotsu is one of the most mysterious characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. And by mysterious, I don't mean like we don't know much about his character. We know a lot about his character. I mean mysterious as we do not know his kit. He could literally have the Omni kit. He could have the wiki. He could have read it. He could have read it. Maybe Jujutsu Kaisen started getting published in their world. And he got the whole wiki to him. And the reason I say that is because he had a whole month. We don't know if he got Star Rage. It's highly unlikely. I personally don't think he has Star Rage, because like, unless Yuki wrote it down in a book somewhere, I have no idea how he would get it, but he could have Star Rage. He could very easily have Ryu's technique. High curse energy output, highest output in history. According to Kenjaku himself 400 years ago and talking to Kashimo. Now, he could have Kashimo's technique. He witnessed it. I mean, Kashimo didn't explain it, but hey, take a wild guess what turning mostly into electricity could do. Who knows? He could have Mahito's technique, out of transfiguration, because we know he has the Mekamaru footage from Shibuya. He mentions it himself, that he saw a lot of the footage from Mekamaru. He could have... I don't know. He could have Panda's technique. I don't think he wants to use Panda's technique. But he could have Panda's technique. He could have... Well, we know he has cursed speech. We know he has sky manipulation. We know he has Drew Shikigami technique. He could have disaster flames. Jogo. He could have disaster water. Well, maybe not disaster water. Well, no, because if Mekamaru was recording everything from Shibuya, could have disaster water. Could have disaster plants. The man has that for everything. Boogie Woogie. Yuta's kit is so deep, so boundless, that bro could literally pull out almost Angel's technique. I completely slipped up on that. He could literally pull out anything. And unless there's somehow some way where I can go back into the series and argue that it should be literally impossible that Yuta has seen that technique, he can just have it. Any technique we've seen in the entire series. Because almost the entire series is somehow recorded. Either through Mekamaru, Yuta directly interacting with them, or secondhand experience, Yuta could literally have the Omni bag. He could pull out anything, and I would just have to chalk it up and keep it pushing. I feel like that wouldn't be like that sometimes. But here's the thing. All of that, even if he has the Limitless, all of that wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful, amazing stuff. He could have literally every technique. He could have Cleave in his mantle for all we know. He could have Space Slash. All that, well, maybe not. I mean, maybe, who knows? Sukuna copied it off first try. Maybe Yuta can too. But that's the big issue. Unless he does have Space Slash. Unless he does have Angel's technique. Even if he has the Limitless. Even if he somehow magically copies the 6-Eye, something I'm still not entirely sure he can do, it wouldn't matter, because he's still second to Satoru Gojo, either in unusual abilities, or, considering time skip, raw power. So, if he has Infinity, it's not going to magically tank Space Slash. The Space Slash, that just appears, by the way. Like, notably, this isn't the big difference, at least from my understanding of 238. And once again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but my reading and understanding of 238 and the recontextualization that 238 provides for 236 of why Satoru Gojo didn't hate to take a line from Piccolo. Actually, why do I say hate to take a line? Love to take a line from Piccolo here. Why didn't you dodge? Like, legitimately, the reason Gojo didn't dodge is because he can't dodge it. It just appears. It just spawns in. You can tell by the difference. The regular cleaves and dismantles that Sukuna uses in the later part of 238, they travel. You can see them tearing through the earth coming towards Kashimo. Meanwhile, the slash that Kashimo explicitly recognizes as the one that executed Satoru Gojo, the one that did him in half, that one didn't travel. It just appeared. It just spawned in. And Yuta Koto's not beating spawning in. Bro may have Boogie Woogie, but he ain't teleporting like that. And that's the big issue. Unless he's going to take one of these super crazy indestructible crows and bird strike Sukuna like 27 times, there's nothing that Yuta has in his kit that's an answer to it. And once again, this is being omega speculative. This is assuming he optimized that bump 1,000,000,000%, 1,000,000,000,000,000,000%, and he really went and studied everything in those 5 minutes. For those 5 minutes, to utilize them in that 5 minutes. If he didn't, and he still has the same kit he had before, sky manipulation is worthless. Because once again, sky manipulation operates on the pretenses of bending the space around you. First things first, you're going to need to be able to react, which is hard to argue that Yuta could even react because of the stats issue. But second thing, it doesn't matter if he's bending the space, he still exists in that space he's slashed. There's nothing for Yuta to see for him to grab space and move it. There's nothing. That's why Earl was such a bad matchup for Ryu, because Ryu's beams traveled. They moved. They did not simply apparate. Maybe if you argue that Yuta could perceive basic cleave in this mantle, maybe he could bring it around town. But he probably can't even do that. Realize Yuta most likely, because no character's been able to. I don't even think Satoru Gojo 100% was able to see cleave in this mantle. The only character noted to see cleave in this mantle in the entire series is Maharaga, specifically after adapting the cleave in this mantle. So it's very likely that Yuta couldn't even see and begin to bring it around town on the basic version. But now this new version doesn't even travel. It just deletes space. It just says, whoop. It doesn't even do that, because that implies travel. It just appears. The sword simply appears, and suddenly you're done. So there is no sword, and you're just bisected. And notably, you can tell by how Sukuna uses the slash in 238, he doesn't have to go horizontally. He really doesn't. He can go straight down the middle. If that instantaneous slash was not explicitly warned by Sukuna for Kashimo, he would have been split straight down the middle. Just like that one finger bear was split into threes, he could have been split straight down the middle. And as high level as Yuta's RCT is, as great as Yuta's endless technique bag is, as wonderful and as crazy and as next level and as gorgeous and amazing bro is, he does not have that. And he does not have a way to recover. If Yuta split in half, he's split in half. Same thing with Rika, unfortunately. I've been kind of quiet on Rika, mainly because, like, she's just explicitly a worse fighter than Yuta. Like, she's just dumb. Like, dumb is the wrong word, right? Like, obviously. She has the mind of, like, a what? How old? Like a 6-year-old? Like, obviously. That's like, as I'm saying here, 6-year-old, let me put you in the body of, like, I don't know, LeBron James, and go play football. Like, they may be able to figure it out, or like go play basketball. They may be able to figure it out. They know how to throw a ball, but they aren't going to be that good. That's the same thing with Rika. And unfortunately, Rika is very likely susceptible to space slash, just like anybody else would be. Because once again, Rika's durability does not matter. One of Yuta's biggest selling points is his durability. The reason he's able to eat hits from Ryu so well is because of how bulky he is. But the thing about Space Slash is it doesn't care how bulky you are. You can be the bulkiest bulk of this side of bulk. Unless you are a 4-dimensional being who transcends 3D space, you're getting deleted. You're getting bisected. Because that space is simply being... like, that's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're kind of done. So... there's not exactly much Mr. Okkotsu can do in this kind of scenario, you know what I'm talking about? Like, and that's the thing. You can definitely argue Sukuna wouldn't immediately go for it, but then, like, what in Yuta's arsenal is immediately executing Sukuna? Like, let's say Sukuna gives him a free hit. Let's say Sukuna pulls a perfect cell. It's like, oh, you're the one who's second to him, right? Maybe you'll provide a better fight than that lightning beast. Go ahead. I'll give you this one chance. Hit me with everything you have. What's he gonna do? He's gonna fire off a Rika blast. Sukuna's gonna eat it. He's gonna eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Unless you want to argue that This gonna sound so weird. Unless you want to argue that Rika's blast hits harder than purple, I have no idea what you want Rika's blast to do. Full power Rika blast. I have no idea what you want to do. Remember, Ryu, while Omega fatigued, post-domain palmed one of them. He just caught it. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe you believe that Ryu's more durable than true form Sukuna, but I don't think you do. Because I don't. And I don't think most people would. But if you do, then maybe Ryu could, maybe Yuta would just vaporize him. But I highly doubt that Rika's full power beams hit harder than Purple's. Even unrestricted ones. And I really don't think they do. So in terms of raw abilities, he can do raw power. That doesn't work. His output is described as average, and Ryu is able to just palm full power blast. For sky manipulation, I mean, Thin Icebreaker is a nice little Durin neg attack. But as we see, Ryu, while Omega fatigued, eats it. And he's able to keep fighting afterwards and punch Rika in the mouth. So if Sukuna lets that run free hit in, realizes, oh, that can actually do damage, he would then grab Yuta by the head and throw him. And then punch Rika out of existence. And not just space slash them out of existence. So that wouldn't work. Drew Shikigami technique, what's that supposed to do? If Uro can just rip those out of the sky, even if Yuta summons a real big one, cleave, done. Idle Transfiguration, if Mahito, the original wielder of the technique, whose whole thing is the soul, could not idle transfigure Sukuna's soul when he was at what? 3 finger and then 15? What do you think he's doing to 20 finger? Yuta Okkotsu. I get Yuta's way stronger than Mahito, but I don't think it's making up that much of a difference. Sukuna's soul is confirmed on numerous occasions to be insanely strong. And he knows how to manipulate it directly, so he likely knows how to shield it directly. So idle transfiguration wouldn't work. Disaster Flames? I mean, Maximum Meteor, the highest thing from Disaster Flames next to its domain, may have damaged Sukuna if it hit. 15 finger Sukuna in Yuji's body. Not to talk of true form Sukuna. So Volcano from Yuta, it's not going to do that much, unfortunately. Same thing with anything Disaster Plants has to offer. Same thing with anything that Disaster Water has to offer. Same thing with Ryu's highest output blast. Like, don't get me wrong, they may do something, because we know they're stronger than Yuta's high output blast, but I still don't think that he's going to get vaporized. If Yuta's able to palm Granite Blast and lose little more than a hand, and Sukuna has more than twice the curse energy of Yuta, which we know directly correlates to your bulk, I don't think even Ryu's Granite Blast straight to the face, that massive one, would do any more than singe Sukuna's clothes. Maybe have his double... Let me stop. They'd be hanging like grapefruits. What can I say? You think he has 4 of them? I mean, it's double. Nah, but essentially, Yuta has nothing. And even if you go super extrapolate, even the only thing that may work if Yuta has it is Angel's technique. Because Sukuna's in a more curse-like form. Maybe. But the thing is, if Sukuna realizes he's getting hit by that again, he's going to throw a space slash in Yuta's general direction as he's up in the heavens, blowing that horn, and he's going to fall. I can't do the Lich voice. I'm not Ron Perlman. But that's what's going to happen. There is simply nothing. There's nothing that Yuta could do to prevent himself from getting the moment he tries to do anything remotely dangerous. So, kit-wise, stat-wise, duo-wise, nothing works against Sukuna. And here's the final reason he shouldn't go up against Sukuna. He only has 5 minutes, and the final battle's not here yet. Like, don't get me wrong, Sukuna is a really high mountain to climb. Trust me, right now, I'm not exactly sure how they're going to beat Sukuna. I have an idea, which I'll make into a separate video. It has a lot to do with Yuji, shock horror. But, like, right now, Yuta would be wasted on Sukuna, because Kenjaku's still around. He still exists. And trust me, despite how much I slopped off base Yuta, I do not believe base Yuta is surviving Kenjaku's domain. That's it. I don't even think base Yuta does that well if Kenjaku starts spamming a billion curses. If a bunch of curse-reinforced cockroaches were strong enough to hold off fully manifested Rika for a few seconds, I think a couple hundred grade 1 curses would do the same thing to unmanifested Rika. And base Yuta. Even if he starts spamming a whole bunch of RCT, he wouldn't be able to refresh if he burns his 5 minutes. He wouldn't be able to do that. And let's say he does refresh, he can only do that so many times. If it even works that way. Can he use RCT to refresh his... See, because that's the thing. I'm not sure if Yuta's 5-minute time limit works the same as domain burnout, where that part of his brain gets severely damaged and needs time to heal, or if it's literally just a built-in part of the technique. Like, he just can only do it for 5 minutes a day. No idea. Maybe if you establish that Yuta can return it, then maybe he can fight Sukuna. But then you fall back to the previous issues of raw power and abilities. Unless Yuta whips out the space slash himself, it ain't working. Nothing. Nothing ain't doing nothing to Sukuna. Nothing at all. And I think he's needed for Kenjaku, unfortunately. Like, now that Gojo's gone, the person who I thought may have taken care of Kenjaku and then would have had to deal with the conglomerate, all that's left is Yuta. Let the run back happen. We literally see Kenjaku clown on Yuta, or no, state that he would clown on Yuta because he doesn't see what's special about him. Let Yuta have his battle with Kenjaku. Don't do that. Let him do that. Because that's where he could use that 5 minutes more optimally if we don't assume he can refresh. If we don't assume he can refresh because it hasn't been established yet, because we don't know how Yuta's burnout with his curse technique and fully manifested Rika works, yeah, sing for Kenjaku. That's the battle that he needs to partake in. And Yuta likely needs to leave Kenjaku just alive enough so Yuji can come finish him too. So, I really don't think Yuta should show up. And I think that's another big reason why Maki said, hey, if anyone's going out there, I'm going to go out there. Because strategically using Yuta right now is too risky since he only has 5 minutes. Sukuna will likely last 5 minutes, even against Giga Amped and Giga Winked Yuta Okkotsu. And after that, Yuta Okkotsu's potency drops off a cliff. A cliff. Meanwhile, characters like Maki, characters like Yuji, characters like Higuruma, characters like Akari, characters like Momo, all of them can use their abilities for more than 5 minutes. All of them are not heavily reliant on a very strict time limit to use their basic abilities and aren't locked off to 20% of their potential for, what did I calculate? I think it's like less than 1% of the day. So Yuta on no level should go fight Sukuna. He would not remotely scale to him at all, simply because he is second to Satoru Gojo. This is affirmed as recently as Hikari telling Yuta, hey, remember what Gojo said to us? We are not to intervene until we, the collective, are stronger than him. And at the point where Gojo was in the point of that battle, where Yuta was trying to step in, Gojo was extremely weakened and I believe missing an arm. So that means one-armed, fighting for his life, I'm been burnt out and brain damaged, Satoru Gojo is still stronger than Yuta. Not just Yuta, but Yuta plus everybody else, depending on how much of an increase you think everybody else is. How much the teamwork, though, fits into that. And then Sukuna simply got stronger with a better body that has better physical reinforcement, has literally the perfect build for fighting, has double the arm, so the jumping of Rika and Yuta probably wouldn't be as effective because he literally has 2 hands for each of their 2 hands. Probably got 2 other things that could smack Yuta and Rika around too. They be swinging. There's nothing that Yuta really brings to the table on this one unless he has Angel's technique. And even then, considering Angel believed there was very limited efficacy for their technique to work on Sukuna, it's entirely possible that the Heavenly Light, even from Yuta Okkotsu, would not be as effective, and thus it would leave him vulnerable to being space slashed. The abilities of Sukuna are simply too dominant, too nasty, too devious for Yuta to get involved in with that 5 minutes. If we were to remove the time limit, let me be real, if we were to remove the time limit, then I think he could go fight Sukuna. Because then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter who he has to fight afterwards. He would just consistently stay linked up with Rika. Rika's been storing his cursed energy. He could keep RCTing up endlessly and keep fighting forever. But he only has 5 minutes. He doesn't have the stats. He doesn't have the abilities. He doesn't have the ability, the access to said abilities. And there are more threats after Sukuna where those 5 minutes could be much more valuable. Whether it be Kenjaku, whether it be the conglomerate, whether it be if Ryomen magically pulls out this dub against Hikari, could be against Ryomen. Sukuna is very dangerous. Sukuna is a major threat. Sukuna is fully capable of destroying the world as we know it. However, he is still not the endgame. And if we're going to have a man who is known to be second to only Satoru Gojo, whether it be in raw power or unusual abilities, I believe he should be saved until the very last second. And everyone else should fall before Yuta Okkotsu slides on that ring. Also, he doesn't survive domain expansion. That too. That too. He shouldn't, at least. He shouldn't. Maybe? Maybe. I mean, he has high level RCT. I think he burned out faster than Gojo. So, like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I'm planning to make a video on that, like who could survive Malevolent Shrine. That'll be fun. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave. What should it be? The Blessed Run. The Blessed Run. THEBLS it. Run. It can be one word. It can be 3 words. The Blessed Run in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as count them one, a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Wakanda Plays, Red Wolf 4765, and Burp Skills. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, and Demex LND. And I'd like to give a fat, hefty thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, and Idemokami. And I'd like to give another hefty, nasty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. And another big fat scrumdiddlyumptious thank you to our $25 patrons, Igneal and Calvin Elder.